When it comes to retirement, a lot of people have questions about Social Security, and the biggest question most commonly is, when should I take it? And for good reason, right? You have the opportunity to take it at 62 if you'd like to, or you can delay it to your full retirement age, which for most people now is going to be 67, or even beyond that, all the way to 70. Now, there are benefits and drawbacks of doing that, but the question is what should I do and why? And so today we're going to look at Bob and Sue. They're a couple they're 61 right now, and they're trying to figure out when they should take their Social Security. And for now, they're saying, hey, we want to take this at 62 because we want to get what we can while we can. We're unsure about tomorrow. There's no promises that we're going to live another day. And so we want to get what we can while we can, since we have paid into the system. And I definitely understand that sentiment. I definitely understand the thought process there. But we also want to evaluate everything else that comes into this. So that's what we want to evaluate today in this part one of a two-part series on their case study. Today, we're just evaluating the Social Security implications and perhaps some ideas for them there. And next week, if you want to watch part two, be sure to subscribe. But next week, we're going to finish out their case study and see what other things they can do to improve their plan. So we've got Bob and Sue, and they have a net worth of around $2.3 million. Out of that $2.3 million, $650 is comprised in their house. So their liquid net worth is around $1.7 million. And out of that 1.7, most of it is actually in tax deferred accounts. So you can see that Bob has $1.3 million in his traditional IRA. Sue has $115 in hers. They have a joint bank account and also a joint brokerage account. So most of their assets are tax deferred. They don't have any Roth assets. And the reason that Sue's IRA is so low compared to Bob's is that she stayed home for most of her working career. They have got 3 daughters, and so she was at home with them and did that way. So that's where their overall net worth is. They have around $1.7 million total to their name. So let's take a look also really quickly at their goals. So they mentioned, hey, we're 61. We're retired already, and we're trying to see, do we take our Social Security at 62 or do we delay that into the future? So they're currently both 61. They say they need about $7,500 per month to meet their normal standard of living or living expenses. And we've got some healthcare costs built in as well. They obviously don't have any income from their careers anymore because they are retired, but Bob's Social Security will be $3,100 at his full retirement age. Sue's will be $1,100 per month at her full retirement age. Right now, I've got both of them taking that at 62, so it will be reduced by 30% if they both decide to do that. But for now, since they want to take it at 62 is what they said, I want to factor that into the plan and see what changes, if any, we need to make to that timing of their Social Security. Obviously, we're not saving any money because we're not really in that phase of life anymore. And then let's see, their total net worth again is $2.3 million. Right now, their IRAs are invested 60-40 across the board, and their brokerage account is 80-20. So that's kind of their investment allocation, which if you see right here, their total investment allocation is around 63-37. So fairly conservative, not overly aggressive, but that's their allocation right now. So let's see what their overall retirement projections look like. And we're not focusing necessarily on how to improve all of it right now today. Remember, that's going to be in part 2 next week. But we want to see how they can improve their Social Security timing and what their options are and which might be the most optimal for them. So right now we can see this is the data we've got. We're taking their Social Security at 62. Right now I've got Bob passing away at 90. I've got Sue passing away at 95. Here's our monthly expenses, $7,500. They're both currently 61. And nothing has changed. So we've got the proposed plan and the current plan both saying around 63% probability of success. If we look really quickly and what this is saying is, worst case scenario, if that happens, we're going to run out of money at 82 based on their life expectancies, based on how much they're spending, and based on their portfolio, how it's invested, when they're taking Social Security. All those factors are saying that potentially at 82 we could run out of money. Now, is that realistic? Well, it's not necessarily realistic, but just know that it is in the realm of possibilities. What's more realistic or more likely is this dark blue vein. That's going to be the median. This is more likely what they're going to track closer to, or even that dark blue portion over time. So I would say that given their current situation, based on, hey, how much we have, how much we're going to be spending, and when we take Social Security, I would say they're still in a very good spot, even though their probability of success says 63%, right? I talk about this often. I don't necessarily need this to be 100% because if it ever gets to a spot where we have to change something or make large changes in terms of spending or distributions from a portfolio, we're going to make those. I find that most people are not going to let themselves run out of money, especially in retirement whenever it's their only source of income. So just know if it ever got really bad, we could cut back, make adjustments, and we monitor that often. Okay. So that is their overall plan. Let's see what we can do to help improve their Social Security. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a look really quickly at cash flows. And I want to see if they both take at 62. What we're looking at is around $40,000. It's starting next year at 63. But if they take it right there, it's about $40,000 if they both take it at 62 or the earliest time period. So that's what they're getting there. Now, what happens whenever they do that is they're actually reducing their benefits. Remember, $3,100 is how much Bob is entitled to at his full retirement age, and then $1,100 is how much Sue is entitled to. But by taking it at 62, they're actually reducing how much that will be by about 30%. So they're cutting into their potential benefits to start it early. So if their full retirement age is 67, they'll be starting at 5 years early. Therefore, they're going to get a 30% reduction. And every month that they delay past 62, they actually get a slight increase above that 30% reduction. So it goes from, let's say, 30% reduction to a 29% reduction and so forth as they get closer to their full retirement age. So for them, they said, we want to take it at 62 because we want to get what we can while we can. Most of the time, it's going to be more beneficial to delay it. Now, in their situation, we're not sure what to do yet, but let's see what their options are. So let's really quickly play around with this timing. And let's change this from current strategy to customized, or actually let's just do it here, for retirement age. Let's just say that they're going to take it at full retirement age. And how does that impact the plan positively or negatively here? So we actually go up a couple percentage points and we increase our benefits at the end of life. And the reason for that is because of increased benefits once we actually do turn it on at full retirement age. So if we look really quickly back at the cash flows, instead of let's see, $40,000 per month. So if we look at how much benefit they would have at, let's say, 68, by taking that 62, which is our current plan, they would have at 68 a total of $44,000 coming in. That's between both of their benefits. Now, if we look at this and break this down, we can see Bob's benefit starting then is going to be this much, right? And it's going to be increasing with inflation over time, cost of living adjustments. Now, Sue's would be this much, but she's also going to benefit from a spousal benefit, which again, if she takes her benefit at 62, it's going to be a reduced spousal benefit. So a lot of people think that spousal benefits, you're going to get 50% of whatever your spouse is receiving, and that's not necessarily true. That could be true if you delay your own benefits until full retirement age, but since she would be taking her benefit at 62, she's actually only going to get 32.5% of whatever Bob's PIA or primary insurance amount would have been at his full retirement age. So in that event, she's getting a reduced spousal benefit, but she still is getting more than she would if she had just had her own benefit. So you can see that here. Let's say at 68, her benefit would have been $10,715, but with the spousal benefit on top of that, even though it is reduced to 32.5% of his PIA, then she's still getting an extra $4,000, bringing their total up to that $44,000. So that's just a quick example there. Now, remember this, at both of them at 68, their total was $44,984. Now let's switch this over to the proposed plan, which says we're going to take it at 67, both of us. So it's 68. Now we're up to 64,000. So almost $20,000 different. And so what we're really looking at here is number one, Bob's benefit would be his full benefit, right? So he's going to get $43,000 versus $30,000. Sue's benefits going up by $15,000 or $5,000. I'm sorry, and then also she's getting an additional spousal benefit by about $2,200. So that all adds up to an additional, $20,000 or so per year of Social Security benefits. So what we're really looking at is how much benefit is it to give up these 5 years of benefits, and then we start taking it here at 67 and beyond. So you get more later, but you give up 5 years worth of benefits there. So what I wanted to look at really quickly is this. Assuming they are all still dying at the same time, so Bob passing away at 90 and Sue at 95, as you can see here, what I'm gonna do really quickly is I'm gonna download this Social Security. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to open this up We're going to just see what their total benefits would be one versus another over the rest of their life, if obviously they live to the expected ages. So if we do, this is the, let's see, this is the proposed being at 67. So we're going to do all of these. Perfect. Put that in dollars. And then, let's see here. Perfect. So $2.3 million of benefits over their lifetime if everyone lives to 90 or 95. And then let's see what the other one shows us. If we go back to the current plan. Okay, we're going to download. Perfect. There. Wonderful. What I'm going to do is just copy this over into the same spreadsheet, put it next to it. All right. So this is the original plan of taking it at 62 equals sum. Okay. All right. So if we say that minus that, there you go, $470,000 more benefit if they delay it until 67. Okay. And that obviously assumes that the times that we've got them passing away is actually in play or matters, right? So they're the same. So both of them, Bob lives to 90, Bob lives to 90, Sue lives to 95, Sue lives to 95. Obviously, if they pass away at different times or based on expectations, it's going to be different. But all else being equal, taking it at their full retirement age is going to be more beneficial here than if they take it both at 62. Now, something else to factor in, and that I actually run into a lot, is what if we split their timings and don't do them at the same time? What if we take Sue's, since her benefit is a lot less, what if we take hers at 62 and we delay Bob's until 67? Let's take a look at that really quickly. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the proposed strategy here. We're going to change this to custom. We're going to say that Bob is going to take his at 67 and Sue is going to take hers at 62. So I'm going to hit refresh. Going to change it a little bit slightly here, okay? But what I'm really looking at, since we're only evaluating Social Security right now, I know this has changed it a little bit, it brought it back down, but let's look only at Social Security. So cash flows, now that we've got that, let's go to summary, income, Social Security, and this is, we want the proposed plan, right? Because we just changed that. Now what we can see is that Sue started at 62, and then Bob's is not starting until 67. So let's do this. Let's download this one. Okay, so if Sue takes hers at 62 and Bob takes his at 67, their lifetime benefits, assuming they both pass away at 90, 95, like we've anticipated the whole time, it would be 2.23 million or so in total benefits that they would get if she took hers at 62 starting here and Bob took his at 67 starting here. So you can see that notated in the columns right there. And by the way, Social Security, I've got this inflated by 2.5% cost of living adjustments annually. That compares to this much if they delay it until their full retirement age is both. So there's a slight difference here of about, let's say, $50,000, $160,000. So what happens is they've got a $160,000 benefit of delaying both of theirs until 67. Now, something else is going to come up in maybe the next video whenever we complete their overall kind of analysis and case study, is that it might not be helpful from a comprehensive view to delay for this long, right? If we're looking at cash flows, we're looking at potential return risks or sequence of return risks, it might make more sense to have some steady income coming in, which might mean that we could do this. And so again, this all has to fit into the greater plan, but right now we're kind of in a silo looking at just Social Security benefits. And regardless, I'm thinking that they're going to probably need to delay it past 62. At least Bob should not take his at 62, because we can see here that this is still less optimal than this. Let's see by how much. Equals that minus that by about $300,000. So it's still more beneficial by $300,000 of lifetime benefits for them to take it at 62 for Sue and then Bob at 67, where it kicks in there. So if we look just at age 70 across the board, $60,000, $60,800 if we do it under that strategy. If we both delay until full retirement age at, let's see, what was it, 70? 67 versus 60, and 67 versus 47. So that's what we're really looking at. is what gets them the most benefit over the rest of their life, and doing it this way, probably delaying at least past 62 for Bob for sure. Sue could take it earlier since there's a smaller gap between these two numbers, right, in total benefits. Depending on the rest of their plan, which we're going to look at next time in the next video, it might make some sense to actually take this here for her at 62. Now, one of the questions that Sue had for me as well was, Jacob, what happens if Bob passes away or I pass away? Like, what happens then? What's going to be the most optimal? So for us, let's take a look at this. Let's see if we change this. Let's say Bob passes away at 75, for example. So what we're going to do is we're going to change his planning horizon from 90 to 75. And we're going to refresh that. And what we've got here, what I really want to look at, not so much as this, is I want to look at the cash flows now. So if he passes away at 75, that means that Sue's survivor benefit would kick in at that point. She would get her spousal until then, and then once he passes away, she could assume either her own or she could take the greater of his or hers. So let's take a look at that really fast as well. And so this is still saying if Bob takes his at 67, actually let's do the exact same analysis, but let's just kind of reset. Let's see here. Let's go both at full retirement age. What we're going to do is we're just going to reduce the age from 90 to 75, and then we're going to do exactly what we did a second ago. And let's just assume that Sue lives to 95 still. So if we set this both to back full retirement age as our proposed plan, and Bob passing away at 75, let's see what we get here on cash flows. So that's fixed there. Income, Social Security, boom. This is the current plan. All right. Let's just download this really fast. We're going to bring this one up. Okay. Equals sum. So this is our original kind of original plan starting at 62, both living there to 90, 95. So remember, that's our number there. Let's keep this as the current strategy on the timing so that we're comparing apples to apples if he passes away. So we'll make sure we do that right first. Let's do this, download, and get this copied over, and then we'll see what the difference there would be with Bob passing away slightly earlier. Okay, there, we'll do the sum. Okay, so if Bob passes away earlier and they're still taking both of their benefits at 62, so here you see Bob passes away at 75, so there's no benefits in his column afterwards, they would get a reduced amount because what happens here is Sue, she would keep getting her amount, her benefits after that, but she would now get a spousal or survivor benefit on top of that. So whatever Bob's benefits would have been is kind of what we're looking at, okay? So that's what she can assume as her own. So her total benefits are dropping, right, at age 76. Her total benefits are dropping, but not by a large amount because she gets to continue having his benefits that he was receiving. So by taking it early and that being he passing away earlier, what's going to happen here is her benefits overall are going to be reduced. Now, what I want to do is this. I want to say, based on this new expectation of him passing away at 75, let's say, let's change this back. And I want to change this to both at full retirement age, okay? So now we've updated that. Let's do cash flows and download this again to see if they delay it past 62 both. I wonder if it would be beneficial given his new date of death. So here's where we're at. So I'm going to copy this new one over. We're going to put it right here. Okay, we're going to total this up. Okay, we're going to get a little $sign there. Wonderful. All right. Okay. This is interesting. Okay, so let's say that Bob passes away early. So this is our original deal of both taking at 62. This assumes that Bob passed away at 90 and Sue at 95. Their total benefits doing it that way at 62 and living their full life expectancy is $1.9 million. Now, if they delay it until 62 and Bob happens to pass away early, let's say at 75, they're still going to get a total of $1.9 million total benefits across all those years. And the reason for that is you can look right here in, let's say, right here, perfect. So if you look at the first year that Sue actually is on her own, meaning after Bob passes, her total benefit, including the survivor benefit, would be $43,364. Now, if we look over here and see if they delay it until 67 both, her benefit would obviously be higher by $5,000, $5,600, and then also the survivor benefit would be higher because Bob's benefit himself was actually higher because he delayed his past 62 until 67. And then that gives her a total benefit of $52,000 at 76 rather than only 43. And that's really the difference here is you're looking at this number compared to this number, and that gives you hopefully some insight into understanding, hey, delaying is probably going to be the best option even if he passes away early because, yes, he is going to get a lower benefit, all right, but we have to look at all benefits comprehensive. So here's one of the biggest issues that a lot of people run into is they look at only their benefits in a silo rather than saying the benefits of the household as a whole, right? So if we say that Sue is going to live until 95, delaying Bob's benefit could actually benefit her a ton because she now has a much higher survivor benefit for when she is on her own, okay? And so what happens is we'll see next time here in the next video, next week on part 2, is we can actually delay benefits and now we can think about other important things such as Roth conversions perhaps, and also maybe improving their investment allocations. But these years of no tax because of no Social Security, these are going to be important to maybe doing Roth conversions because remember, they have $1.7 million or $1.5 million in tax-deferred accounts and they've got 3 daughters. They want to probably leave as much tax-free money to them, and so Roth conversions might be an important part to their overall plan. So hopefully this gives you an idea of the things you can be evaluating. Remember, don't just look at your specific or your individual benefits in a silo. Look at the whole household. Look at your spouse's potential benefits in the future via spousal benefits, but also survivor benefits, and say, what is the total that could be the benefit overall for the household, and how can we maximize that? So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, leave a comment down below, or if you have any questions following up on this video, leave them down below. Also subscribe, that way you don't miss the next video where we finish out their overall plan and see what their case study comes out to be and how we can improve it comprehensively or holistically. Thanks so much, and we will see you next time.